And here we are. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the full client call. Welcome to the friends from Casal Labs and Equilibrium Labs, colleagues from Nethermind as well. Gentlemen, I propose we go over the agenda, which was shared previously, just to remind. Let's have a look at the impact of the incoming Starknet upgrade on the full node clients. And then the topic is the P2P implementation and progress updates from respective teams. Finally, the latest proceedings on the Starknet consensus design and development. And finally, any other business. And let us start with the incoming Starknet upgrade. We know that the Starknet version 0.13.3 scope has been published. Can we hear the update from Nethermind side, please, on Juno?
Sure. Yeah, we saw the scope published, and we will be picking up the impact analysis soon.
Okay, thank you, Kirill. How we're doing in Pathfinder, Christian?
Pretty much the same. We didn't have time to do a detailed analysis yet, but we'll definitely do that. Right now we are primarily working on the new JSON RPC version, so that is already in progress, but other parts are still being analyzed.
Lovely, thank you, sir. Antira, will you be speaking for Kazar?
Yeah. So for us, it's the same. We did not advance that much in the P2P side and everything because we were adding the sequencing mode to our full node to Madara. We did the code swap, and now we added the DevNet mode also. So we are a bit late on some stuff regarding core development, but for 0.13.3 and 0.8, we should probably start next week, starting with 0.8, so we don't lose time on the RPC version.
Nice, thank you so much, sir. Do you have anyone else from the remaining client team? I don't think we do. Okay, let's move on then. The P2P implementation strand, and let me just recap the statements or the agreements which we landed with back in Brussels in July, because back then we've been discussing the P2P implementation roadmap, and there have been some actions done in that space. There is a set of bootnotes, public bootnotes published running Juno, and that's available for cross-client integration testing. The environment has been set up back in August, albeit Juno has noticed a failure in P2P syncing capability, and that's something that the Juno team is looking at and actually stabilizing at the moment. So even though we have the bootnotes running, they stopped syncing, so we are observing slight regression from what we saw in July, but that's being fixed at the moment. So we are covering that. Another point was Nethermind proposed to put forward a sample of the attempt to approach the integration testing of the P2P network or the P2P network capability of the full client nodes. And after trying various approaches, Wojtek did publish recently and did share a proposal of like a Golang-based automated test case examples. And that's something which has been shared on our previous call. And I would kindly invite other client teams to also have a look at that and see if that's of any use to them. Our next step on that front will be to define a sensible integration test scope to be covered by using this approach. And once we are happy with the scope, we'll just progress with implementation of the test cases. And this is the integration test category. Another category which we were putting forward is what we call the P2P end-to-end testing, which includes running simulated networks of Starknet clients and actually testing various behaviors of the networks. This is something that we would also like to show a POC of or an example approach, and the team will be moving to building this prototype hopefully in the second half of September. So that is still to come. All in all, we would like to land in a situation where we have a proposed scope of test cases in both of the categories, the integration testing as well as the network testing. And we could also show them to the rest of the client teams just for feedback, for potential alignment, and also anything that we are building in this test space. We hope that is useful to the other client teams as well, and potentially we could use that also to test the cross-client integration, something that we have kicked off back in Brussels. That's the update from the Nethermind side on the P2P implementation. So guys, Antiro, Christian, anything on that topic from your side?
I can add a few things. So we have been running some tests with Pathfinder and Juno to find out if Pathfinder can now finally sync from Juno. And we have identified a couple of issues. Some of those Kirill has already fixed, or there's a branch with a fix, or so they are in various states of being fixed. There are also some changes we will do on the Pathfinder side, like making some fields optional for certain protocol messages and so on. Long story short, this is pretty much the best we've had so far. So we haven't successfully synced yet, but almost all phases of our initial sync have finished by now. So I'm just running a test now. There were a couple of takeaways, like there were a few issues on the Juno side, a few problems in Pathfinder, and it looks like there's also a protocol issue with some hashes can be non-representable as fields, and they don't have a separate data type in the protocol definition. That's probably something I'll open a PR in the P2P protocol repo as well, and we can discuss it then. So this is one of the things, and the other one is for P2P use. There has been an ongoing discussion on using new style like O32 block hashes for old blocks in the protocol. It looks like we have also found an inconsistency in calculating transaction commitments there. Unfortunately, there was no feedback from Starkware, but it looks like we have identified the issue. There is a potential fix or change for Juno as well, but we should definitely wait until we get some feedback from Starkware, as basically we should do exactly the same they are doing on the sequencer. And from the specs and the example code alone, I don't think we can decide which approach is the right one. So this was one of the problems, and there's another issue which we have in fact identified a couple of months ago. Like there are these redeclared classes that cause mismatches in state commitment values, state diff commitment values that we calculate for older blocks. Frankly, I don't know what the solution there is. So here as well, I'm just waiting for some feedback from Starkware. I was under the impression that this is something that have been fixed on the feeder gateway side with the 0.13.2 Starknet release, but apparently this is not the case. So so all in all, we are progressing with P2P sync, and compatibility between Juno and Pathfinder is quite good now, I think. So you can actually sync Pathfinder from Juno with the latest fixes from both sides. And we are waiting for feedback on a couple of things from Starkware.
Lovely. Good stuff. Thank you, Christian. And Tito?
Yeah, as I said, on our side, we postponed P2P for the sequencing dimension of Madara, and so we hope to kickstart P2P in by the end of this month. We should recover fast, and thanks a lot, guys, for having noticed the problem in the specs and everything, so we can work on a stable version. And so we will try to give you as much feedback as we can when we start P2P.
Nice. Thank you, sir. Moving on to the Starknet consensus proceedings. I believe one of the highlights worth mentioning is the continuous discussion on various aspects of the Starknet consensus protocol, especially when it comes to like the boundary edge cases. There has been a note published on the community forum from Denisa on a proposal of a way to address the non-provable blocks. So the concept of SOS block and the explanation of it has been published. This has been originally also aligned with Ilya from Starkware, but we invite everyone to actually digest the proposal and comment and provide feedback on that front. Other update from the Nethermind side and Juno side is that the team working on the Juno implementation of the Tendermint engine, which is like the basis of the consensus implementation, is progressing slowly, just covering respective edge cases, which is obviously a tedious task, but that keeps brewing continuously. That's it from the Juno side. Sorry, Christian, anything on that topic from Pathfinder?
No, not really. At this point, I'm unable to add anything.
Fair enough. And Tito?
Same, nothing on our side regarding consensus.
Fair enough. Thank you. Gentlemen, any other business, any other topic worth raising?
We started benchmarking the different clients. We want to have a proper benchmark that live forever. Like what I mean is that we don't want to have simply benchmarks and release an article and then the article is deprecated. So what we are doing in collaboration with the Starknet Monitor. I don't know if you know the website from Francesco from API Barra. Elliot, which is here in the chat, is currently exposing an endpoint for Madara, but it's compatible with Juno and Pathfinder. Basically, we Dockerize an environment and we test the endpoint, the latency, the sync speed, the fetching process, most of what's accessible externally, the CPU, RAM, and everything, and they will be displayed in real time forever in that website, the Starknet Monitor, so that we can have an overview of how the current clients are acting, and those are pretty raw benchmarks, but they will be probably cool to analyze.
And is this the follow-up from our work on the offsite in Brussels to add
No,
the
it's,
observability?
so no, this one is something that we decided internally. Just we wanted to benchmark Madara, but we thought that it would be great to benchmark it against Juno and Pathfinder. I think that Papyrus is not eligible for comparisons because they don't have everything, but maybe we'll add them. Regarding what we've done in the Starknet Core Dev, we also post the telemetry work. We want to come back with it with proper spec. I think that you two did not advance that much on that dimension, or
That is correct. I mean, we left it at the same state which we left
Yeah.
it at back in the end of July, right? And I mean, I'm happy and actually would appreciate your lead on this, especially when it comes to like aligning the specs, because then we could just roll them out into respective clients, and we are happy to actually take them into Juno as well. On the benchmarking and monitoring though, am I right that you're actually taking other clients into account, as in, for example, you're also benchmarking Juno? And if that is the case, is there anything that you would need from Juno itself or the Juno team to help you in this?
So I think that maybe Elliot already contacted you on the Slack. For now, it seems good. We may need some stuff regarding the Dockerization of Juno and Pathfinder, but apart from that, it's everything. If you are compatible with latest specs, we should be intercompatible. So it's great.
Fair enough. Thank you, sir. Okay. Noted.
Maybe I can join in if you can hear me.
Yes, all good. Yeah,
just to make clear, like the benchmarking is very simple. It's just a RPC benchmarking, so in that sense, it's very portable, as well as a system benchmarking. So other than containerizing, as Antero said, other than containerizing nodes, there won't be any special work required on your side. In fact, actually, Dockerization is also going to be done by our team. I'll probably just contact you down the line with an example of the test, just to make sure that they're representative. But otherwise, no input should be needed.
Lovely, thank you, sir.
I just have one question. Is this repository with benchmark maybe publicly available, or?
Yep, it's publicly available. Currently, it's not yet on the Madara org because it is. Well, it's not exactly finished. It should be by tomorrow, but it will be added to Madara and be publicly available and fully transparent.
Perfect, thanks. And I'm wondering, what kind of tool do you use for the RPC benchmarking? I mean, some load testing too, or?
So far, the idea is to keep it like really simple and as close to real world as possible. That's to say, it's just going to be a series of RPC calls averaged over multiple calls on probably either same or different contracts. The specifics of how the tests are going to happen is still up to debate. I don't know if it's more representative to do multiple calls on the same contract, multiple calls on different contracts to take caching into account. But essentially, the idea is just simple RPC tests averaged over multiple calls compared over each nodes, and that done at a stable time interval to be able to have an idea over time, over synchronization, how does each node compare in latency for every single call, and how does that compare to storage, to RAM usage, to CPU, to have kind of a comprehensive idea of real world performance. Just simple RPC calls averaged out.
Sounds cool, thanks.
Welcome.
Good stuff. Anything else? Any other business, gentlemen? And I take it as a no. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the alignment, and let's stay in touch async. And I'll speak to you in 2 weeks. Cheers all.
Very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.